Good morning, everyone. Yes, today we learned about how to use namespaces and we discussed about how to create a React Vite application. So React Vite with what? So TypeScript as language. So we discussed about how to create a React Vite TypeScript application. What is the environment? What is the new file system? We learned about that. So yesterday we created a simple application. So here React White app. So in this application already what are the concepts to implement we discuss, right? So how to design an application, what are changes we learned about them. I given about the file system. I given about the file system, right? What files are present and what is new inside this file system. What is new? I already explained. Everything is similar, only instead of index.js, here you will have a TS actually. Yeah. So how to run the application? So to run the application, we have to use npm run dev. That is to run the application for development environment. We have to use the command npm run dev. So it will start our React application and it is on a 5173 port number. It uses that port number 5173. Localhost 5173. Yeah. Now a React Vite application is running, but we changed the startup. Startup we designed by using login. And how the component works in TypeScript, everything is changed. And everything is new concept here. Index.ts in main and app.ts, whatever the logo is there. Main is using index.css. I will remove that. So that index.css styles are not applied, only our styles are applied. Here in a TypeScript application, all concepts are same. How you set up Bootstrap, how you set up Axios, how you set up Formic, everything is changed. What are little new concepts? I will explain. What are the new concepts here? So today we are going to understand some changes in the TypeScript application. What are the changes in the TypeScript application is? So what's new with the React TypeScript components? React TypeScript simply. First one, already we know the concept like component. Component is a function. Component is a function. But what is new here? Component is a function, and the component function is a function that returns which element? JSX element. That returns JSX element. Component is a function that returns JSX element. That is the first thing. But what is the specialty here? The specialty is TypeScript support type inference. Hence, TypeScript supports type inference. Hence, the return type is not mandatory to define. Return type is not mandatory to define, because when you return something, automatically it will take the type. So you don't need to define. But if you have to define the return type, so what is the return type for this? So login, it is JSX element type. So syntactically export function and some function name, and it is JSX element type. And it should return a fragment. It can return a fragment. It can return a fragment. That's what it should do. This is actually a complete JSX. The first important change is the functions that you write as component, they must be of JSX element type. Even you don't write, doesn't matter, automatically type is taken for them. So you don't worry, you just follow as you written in your JavaScript. So no change. So what is another new concept is actually JSX rules are same. JSX rules are same. There is no change in JSX rules. What are JSX rules you learned? It must return only one fragment, and every element must have an end token. It cannot have attributes. It must have only properties. Binding expression is defined with a curly brace block. All these rules are same. But what is the point? Component file, component file, component file must have extension .tsx. It must have extension tsx. That means what it should be like login dot what tsx. Component file must have extension tsx. So here one more important thing you should know is, so an important note is all library files can have extension. All library files must have extension .ts. Library files must have extension ts. What are meant by library files? Suppose you are creating contracts. Suppose you are creating templates. Then you have to make them as ts. Only components will have tsx. That means components and hooks are defined as what? TSX. Because hook is also a function, components and hooks are defined as TSX. Hooks means your own hooks. We learned in React that we can create custom hooks. So component and hooks are defined in TSX. Library files are defined in TS. Contract means what? Interfaces. Templates means abstract classes. Whatever interfaces, abstract classes we use, they must be this. So the rules are similar. The rules are same concept, but file extensions are little different, right? Now CSS is same, importing CSS is same, everything is same, but in component what is new is state is generic type. Component state is component state is generic type. Component state is generic type. That means constant, you have a getter and you have a setter is equal to, you have a use state. Use state is a generic type. It is a generic type. Already what is generic we learned in TypeScript. It is a generic type. Component state is a generic type. Declaration is same, only the configuration of data type is important. We need to define that. So for example, here, what we are doing, suppose, let's create one component called some demo.jsx. So export function demo and return a markup. And here we have a demo component. Okay, let's keep this in the startup. In main, we will set the demo component. Demo is there, so we will export it, right? Demo is there. What is problem? It's not imported. It is JSX only now. Yeah. Is there anything by name demo? Acha, we given JSX. It should be what? TSX. TSX. Okay. Now we need to import this in the main, and here we are keeping demo. That is the demo component. Now you see the demo component is working fine. How do we configure the state in that? How do you configure the state? All hooks are same, constant. Suppose user, and we have a set user is equal to what? Use state. Use state is defined with, here we need to configure this as generic type. Generic type. So I want to handle a string, then automatically it becomes a string. And in this, you can initialize a string. In this, you can initialize a string. And how do we access that and use it? So we are saying hello, and binding expression, what is it? User. It is going to get that. Actually, why it is using ESLint? ESLint is language analysis tool. Due to that, what happens? Any unused variable, undeclared variable, any unused function, undeclared functions, then it starts showing warnings. Earlier you haven't seen that, but now you will see very much. So everywhere you will see these yellow marks. It is nothing but it is says that you declared, but you are not using it. You are not using it. This is because of tsconfig and ESLint, which are working inside your application. Because already your application is using an ESLint. ESLint is for what? It is for rules. Rules related to what? JavaScript. tsconfig is rules related to TypeScript. So that is the reason by default these warnings will be there. You don't need to worry, right? This is one concept. Now another, how to create more complex types I will show you. That means state is same. There is no problem in the state. All your hooks are same. What are those hooks? Use effect is a hook. So what use effect will do, how it is going to work, everything is same. We have set user and it is some Samsung something like this, and automatically it will set that and show. All concepts are same. So only the state will be a simple additional thing in the state, that is it is generic type. That means how do we configure example constant? Suppose I want to deal with suppose categories, and we have set categories, and we need to define use state. It is a string type array. Like this we can configure. That means it must be what type. If you want to initialize, it must be an array of what type? String. It must be an array of string type. Like this you need to define. Just roughly I am configuring that. It is an array of string type. Depending on what type you are configuring and how to declare a array object, already we learned. Already we know that. That is generic type. And one more important concept is, so you can use a contract for configuring data type. You can use a contract for configuring data type. You can use a contract for configuring data type. So state can use a contract. Generally, we use a contract for configuring the data type. What is the meaning of that? For example, I am expecting data like this. So constant, we have product and set product. Product is having use state. Product is having ID, name, price, and I want to use in so many places. Then what we do, we create one contract and we will use that contract like what? I product. Then automatically it becomes a product type. And this, you have to create like an what? Interface. That means we have an interface, I product, and that I product will have the keys, ID as number, some name as string, like this it will have. So that means what we do, earlier we used to directly store some data, and inside that we have to initialize the values. Now you don't need any initialization. You just mention the data type, automatically it will take that memory. It is strongly typed to handle only those type of values. We will see this, how to design we will see. Now another concept is data binding, style binding, class binding, and event binding. All are same. There is no change. Data binding, style binding, class binding, event binding, everything is same. There is no change in that. What is data binding? Already we know one-way binding, two-way binding, binding styles dynamically, binding CSS classes, and binding events, different types of events, how to write, all are same. There is no change in that. So, and all hooks are same. There is no change in hooks. And another important is Axios and Axios, Formic, yep, yep, routing, all are same. They are all same. There is no change in that. Means all your libraries are same. Means we learned cookies, all those libraries, all are same. There is no change. All are same means how you installed, how you used, everything is same. Where you will find the changes, some basic point I will show you. So your hooks are same, your binding techniques are same, your libraries are same, everything same. So only the point is instead of JavaScript, it is TypeScript. So, and one place you will face problem is about data type. For example, another important is controlled components. Controlled components use props, am I right? And what is the props type? Props type is an any type object, is an any type object. That is the only the point. Props type is an any type object. It is an any type object. That means syntactically, generally when you create controlled component, export function, some nav bar, and it is expecting props. You know that whenever you pass the properties, you have to mention data type. And how do you configure the type any? Because some properties are string, some properties are number, some properties are array. You saw controlled components, they may have different properties. Then it must be an any type. Any type means it can be array, object, anything. It can take all. So it can handle both primitive and non-primitive types. Just you need to mention the data types. Right. Now, let's see one simple example here is what I am doing here. Let's copy this. I will open here. npm install bootstrap and bootstrap icons I am installing. I will install Axios also. Bootstrap icons and Axios. These are the libraries we are installing here. And what we are doing is in the main.tx, we are importing // node modules. So in that bootstrap dist css bootstrap.css. So we have import node modules, bootstrap icons, and font bootstrap icon CSS. These are the files we have linked there. And usually that will get the bootstrap styles here. Then you can apply all the bootstrap effects. That means this is using a class container fluid, and you have an option class text primary, and we are having here is a class font weight bold, and here we are having a class bi, and bi some bi house door fill, something like this, and everything is same. All your bootstrap is working similar, installation, setup, everything same. Only the point this time, instead of index.js, JS, you have to use main.tsx. That means you need to configure all of them here, right? All of them here. So what is the point? So here, setup bootstrap or MUI for project. Setup for Bootstrap and MUI for project is same. Components, MUI components are same. There is no change. MUI components are same. Only the point is import Bootstrap cookies, cookie provider, and other global providers in which file main.tsx. That is only the thing you have to do. Import Bootstrap, not only Bootstrap, we learned cookies. Cookie provider must be configured where? In main.tsx. And other global providers, whatever are there, they are in main.tsx. We define in main.tsx. Right. And what about your APIs and functions? Everything same, no change. For example, you see here, suppose, let me remove this now. Let's try one simple option here. What we need to do is, we want to connect with API, get the data and use it. So same thing, but this time what we do, we will add a new folder into SRC by name contracts. I'm adding a contracts folder. In this contracts, I will add a new file. What is that new file is? Fake store contract.ts. Contracts will have an extension .ts. Now, how do we design a contract? Export interface. What is the contract name? Fake store contract. That is the name. And what it should have, according to the data that comes from that, it should have an ID. What type? Number. It should have a title. What type? String. It should have a description. Description is what type? String type. It have an image. What type? String type. It will have a price. What type? Number. It have a rating. Rating is an object with the rate as what type? Number type, and count as what type? Number. That is the data we are expecting from fixed. Now, once you define the contract, so we are trying to use this in our demo. So first what we have to do, we have to import the contract. That is fake store contract we are importing from contracts. After that, what we have to do, we need to configure state. One is categories. Categories, set categories. Categories is what type? Use state. It is a string type array we are expecting from categories. That means it is expecting an array of string type. Okay. Next, what we are having constant products. We have set products. What type of products we are expecting? Use state. We are expecting a fake store contract type array. Am I right? It is a fake store contract type array. Fake store contract is referring to one product, and products means we are expecting many. All are array of products. Array of products are, they are which type? The contract type. That means the interface type. Okay. Next, what we have a function called load categories. What this have to do? Load all the categories. Axios. Axios dot what? Get from https://fakestoreapi.com/products/what? Categories. Categories dot then. And what we need to get? we need to get the response. And what we have to do, we need to use the response data, set categories. So we have to use response dot what data. That's how we need to define. Everything same, no change here. So we have function load products, and it have to load Axios dot what get https://fakestore api.com/what. So products, that is going to return all products dot then, and I need to get response, and we need to set products. It is coming from response dot what data. Now on load, we need to load these two. Load categories is loaded, and load products is also loaded on mount face. And here we want to present, so I'm having a header. This is a heading, some fake store. So I have a class text center, and here we have a section. Section have a class as row, and in this we have a nav. This is having a class call. We have a drop down. In this drop down here we are having a, in the nav row is having a margin top 4, column is 2, and here we have a div label select category, and here we are having a class. This is form label and a class form select, and we want to display all the categories. What is it? Categories dot what map. And here important is that what is the concept here? Question mark. Why a question mark comes when you are reading the content? 2 points are there. You can avoid question mark. Why it is showing question mark? Because it is saying that I am undefined if value is not there. Means optional. Until value comes from the API, this category's memory is empty. It doesn't have any value. That means it is optional. Optional means what? Optional means it is saying that I am not having any default data until any data comes. Then we have to use a question mark. There is another point. See, if I don't use this and try to use a map, it will show an error. It says that if data is still not there, how you are using a map on it. But you can avoid this issue simply when you initialize the memory. Into the memory, you can pass an array of string type. Then automatically you can see that categories map is not a problem now. That means now map can work, because map requires what? It requires a category, and every category we need to present as what? Option. And we need to print the category here. We need to print the category. And we need to use a key. Key is what? Category. That's what we need to define. That means the question mark is not required. It works same. Question mark is required if you are not initializing what type of data is coming. If you are not initializing what type of data is coming, but already you mentioned type, but initial data is missing, then it requires an error. It shows an error. Then to avoid that, what you have to do, you have to use an question mark. Question mark indicates it can be nullable, because if till the data comes, it is null. Once the data comes, it uses the data. That means now it is okay, fine. But if you don't give this, then it is not good. It shows an error. It shows an error. So that error means you have to check the console. Huh? In the console, you can see there is an error. Cannot use map on it. Cannot use map. So you need to put that as question mark. Now the problem is solved. That means there is no issue in this. and you see it is having some warnings there. These warnings are not a problem because they are all related to that HTTP request. That means their API related problem. I already told you because lint is installed here, it will show a lot of warnings to you if you don't mention the data types and all. That's not a problem for us. So initially, this is the data coming from there. So what is new about defining here? So here, one important note, the state configured for handling data must be strongly typed. Strongly typed. It is default. It is default nullable. It is default nullable if a value is not initialized. It is default nullable if value is not initialized. If value is not initialized, it is default nullable. So here how to use it syntactically. If a constant, so some categories, set categories, use state, it is a string type array. We are not initializing here, then what to do? Categories question mark dot map. Read every category and you have to create a presentation. Just I'm giving a rough presentation like this. Means you need to define in this way. This is the syntax if a value is not initialized. Now another syntax is if value is initialized. That means constant, categories, set categories, and use state, and use state is a string type array, and in that you initialize the string type. Then directly you can use categories dot map. So null reference is not required. So when you are dealing with the data in TypeScript, so for configuring the state and managing the state, this is the option. So let's see here, I want to go present all the products in the main area. Main have a class called 10. That is the main area we are having. Now in this, what we are doing, let's keep this as deflex, flex wrap also, and style binding, height is some 500 pixel, and overflow as what? Auto. All I want to show you here. So I am implementing all of them: style binding, class binding, and all. And this time we are accessing products question mark dot what map. Read every product, and for every product, what we need to do, we need to design a div, and it will be used as a card. So card have padding 1, margin 2, and style for every card width will be width will be some 200 pixel. In every card we want to display an image. So class as card image top, and the height of the image is how much? So that is suppose some 120 pixel. 120 is enough. Okay. And this card is repeating, then it should have a key product dot what ID. You can see it is strongly typed. Then what else you need? What is the source here? SRC is coming from product. It is coming from product dot image. We have an image. Similarly, we have a div class as card header, and we have here product dot title. So just we are giving some style. So height as some 130 pixel. Fine. Now these are all the products related to fake store to display here. So what is problem in this? API fake store spelling wrong, huh? Yeah. It have to get the data and display the data. That is what the data it is having there, right? So I will use this height little bit. So 100 is the height, and this is like 400 is fine. That's all the data it is having and showing it. I just used a rough point here. So is there any major change you observed here? No, right? Everything is same, only data type, contracts, what type of data you are dealing, create a contract for that. And you have to define the contract. Earlier, what is the problem for handling data coming from API? In the state, you have to initialize the type every time, right? ID, name, title. Otherwise, it shows I can't find this property. Now, if you configure as a contract type, it will easily handle. You don't need to mention initialize type every time. So now it is good. So same example, I just given an example of fake store API. What about events? Events also same, no change, right? All events, functionalities, everything change. When I change this category, I want to display those category. Then you know already how to write events. Yesterday I showed you functions pointing towards the function, everything same. So I will copy this example. So this is an example. This is demo.tsx this time. Huh? But before that, first what you done is add contracts folder into SRC. Then add a new file. What is the file? Product fake store contract dot what ts. In that fake store contract ts, we mentioned all the data we are expecting. In that we have to define the data type. That's what we need to write in the fake store contract. After that, we are using demo.tsx. In demo.tsx, we are presenting all the data collecting from the API. All your presentation, everything same. only state configuration and accessing the data from state. If it is nullable, use a question mark. If it is initialized, you don't need a question mark, right? Axios, Formic, Yup libraries, cookies, use reducer, use context. So all are same. There is no change in any of those libraries. Just only the point is whatever examples you tried in JavaScript, you can now try in TypeScript. But learning TypeScript language is important. That means you have to learn the TypeScript language to understand generics, enums, to understand classes. But one good thing, in earlier people have to use a lot of classes. That's the reason they need to be very strong in OOP. But now we are not using much classes. That's the reason here functions knowledge is good. You should be very strong in understanding handling functions in TypeScript, right? So now we are perfect with TypeScript as a language. Now what we will do, we know TypeScript and we can build an application using TypeScript. Now we will try to implement some technologies into this and we will try to build one application. One end-to-end application we will try to build. We will try to build one end-to-end application, end-to-end project. End-to-end project means front-end and back-end. But unfortunately, to learn end-to-end, you should have knowledge of any back-end technology. React.js class will not teach you back-end. This class is not to teach you any back-end technology. React.js is just React.js. But people who have knowledge of any backend technologies like Java, .NET, PHP, Node.js, they can use their backend technologies. They can create APIs in those technologies. And those APIs we can use in our React. So React is not a class where we teach any backend. But what I will do, I will give a simple overview of how to design a simple database and how to write a server-side logic and how to implement that in our project. We will see. You can try because JavaScript-based technologies are easy to handle. So you can try them without learning completely backend also, you can try them. So what we will do, we will create one project. In that project, we will use TypeScript. We will integrate all the hooks, newly what they added, we will learn about them. And we will implement Redux also into that. So what we are going to do now, we are going to build one MERN stack application. MERN stack application. We are going to build a MERN stack application. That means it is our final project we are going to do. So I will give you another project also, source code. You can try that. First, already we designed to-do application. In to-do application, we implemented all CRUD operations. But what we used JSON server. Why we have to learn JSON server? Because that is interview concept. In interviews, usually what they do, they don't give you any backend databases or server-side technologies. They will say that use one JSON server and design one end-to-end application. But as a full stack developers, people have to learn all the integration. I will show a simple MERN stack application. In this, what is the application? I will show you one application, another application I will give complete code to you. You have to try that. That means one shopping application is there. I will means ERP application. I will give you that code. You can try. One application I will show you here. What we will do is we will create a application video library project. We will create a video library application. we are going to design one video library application. What is this video library application is? So in this application, actually, admin can log in. Admin can log in. So here I will give a heading. This contains admin module. This is actually admin module. What admin can do is admin can log in. So admin can add videos, edit videos. So delete videos. Admin can log in and add videos, edit videos, and delete videos. Now, that is the admin role. That is admin user. One module will be there, admin, who can log in. And this admin login means he will not have a register. That means his credentials are fixed in database. In database, we will create one admin ID and password and we will give it to them. What they have to do, they have to log in with that ID and password. Admin cannot register. There is no register. He can just only use. He can use that application. Okay. Now what we can do is user module is there. What is user module? User can register. So user can log in. So user can browse and view videos. User can browse and use videos. Browsing is nothing but user can search videos by title. He can search videos by title, by category, etc. He can browse the videos, he can search for the videos, he can watch the videos. But videos are not uploaded by him. Videos are uploaded by admin. So we have an admin module and we have an user module. Two important options are there. And user can do one thing. User can save videos to watch later. User can save videos to watch later. It is not offline. That is just watched later is nothing but adding the videos to favorite. That means he can add the videos into the favorite so that he can see later. Suppose he is browsing videos, he can add the videos to watch later. This is nothing but it is like my list, right? In OTTs, you will have add to list so that you can watch them later. That is what we want to maintain here. So admin have to do all this, user have to do all this. These are the functionalities we want to implement. That is the video library application. That means we need to design this concept. And what is meant by burn stack, you know. What is it? Database is in MongoDB and APIs are in Express.js and Node.js and front end is in React. That is what we are using. So here, what are the concepts you are going to do? That means, so the libraries and frameworks we are going to use. Libraries and frameworks, what we are going to use. Actually, MongoDB, this is for database. Express.js for middleware. So middleware, we will use Express.js. Node.js, this is for server-side app, for server-side application. Middleware works like a communication between server and client. Middleware is everywhere, actually. For example, Java people learn JDBC. What is JDBC? It is a middleware software used as a communication between the application and database. Middlewares are very important in any network-based application, right? Server-client communication happens through middleware softwares, right? The popular middlewares, we have Express, we have Oracle Fusion. These are middlewares. So Node.js is for server-side application, Express.js as middleware, MongoDB as database. And React for user interface, UI. React is to build the UI. This is, you can say front end. This is the front end application. Our front end application is React. So that is what else additionally we are using. So React router we will use for routing. We will implement React router. Axios we will use for what? Axios for API communication. And we will use Formic for forms. So yup, for validation. We will use validation. React cookies for user state. For user state management, we will use React cookies. These are all libraries and frameworks we are going to use. And we will use Redux. We will use Redux toolkit for videos watch later. That is actually we have to maintain one application state. Videos watch later, we will save the videos by that user so that he can watch those videos later. How you save the videos for watching later, you need to maintain one application state. In that you have to store them. And to maintain application state, actually we can use reducer. But in a large scale, for good debugging predictable state, we need what? Redux. Already we discussed reducer. You practiced use reducer, use context, you done them, right? Now at large level, what we will do, we will use this Redux toolkit. So we will implement this Redux toolkit. So we will use different hooks also. We will use some different hooks also inside. Already we learned some hooks. Some hooks we will learn additionally here for handling the interaction. And because already I explained one project with CRUD operations, this I will guide you up to certain limits. Others you have to try. 80% I will guide, 20% you have to try. Another project, 100% you have to try everything. I will just give you the code, based on that you have to try. So this is what we are going to do. So that means we are going to build one application in that all this. Actually, you people have to have a knowledge of all this. Generally, this is not a part of React.js. That people with backend technologies, once they know how to use backend, how to build the APIs, they can use in React. So you cannot simply come to React and ask like, I want end-to-end application. That's like joke. right? If you don't know backend, how you will build an end-to-end application? You should have prior knowledge of backend technologies. Here, let's see how to do this. What is easy for you is, even you don't know MongoDB, Express.js, Node.js, I will not explain detailedly about them, but I will give a simple overview. That knowledge is enough. You can design a project with them, right? So let's see what we have to do. So first, in this project, what we need to do is, in this project first, set up database for application. How do you set up database for application? This is the first thing you have to do. This time we will use one real-time database for our project instead of maintaining in a JSON server. And the project database we are going to use, actually databases are different types. So many types of databases are there. And we are going to use the database that is, so MongoDB database. We are going to use MongoDB database. We are going to use MongoDB database. Actually, some different databases, I think. Actually, yeah, these are all the numeric types and options are there. These are not, that's not right. Means here, simple overview, I will explain, no need of that, right? What is this MongoDB is? So it is an non-SQL database. Non-SQL, or people call as NoSQL. You can call anything, doesn't matter. NoSQL database. I'm not explaining detail about MongoDB to you. That's a lot of time, so it takes. Just a simple point. So you don't need any SQL queries. So it is simple like JavaScript. It is simple like JavaScript. So it uses BSON types, binary object notation. It will use a simple BSON type. So it's a binary structure object notation, BSON type, data types. That means all it is similar to JSON. It is similar to JSON. Like JavaScript object notation, all JSON type data will be there. So it provides simple methods for handling CRUD operations. For handling CRUD operations, it will provide simple methods, simple commands. Through those commands, we can easily manage. I will give you simple CRUD operation related methods we will see. So MongoDB, I'm not going very in depth about that because generally we teach this for our backend people. But here for you to try one project with React, I'm giving an overview, simple, so that you can even try this. So you don't need SQL queries. You have simple methods to interact with the data. So let's see how do we first install it. So first point is install MongoDB community server on your device and select MongoDB Compass tool while installing. MongoDB server. Compass tool. MongoDB Compass tool. Actually, Compass is a GUI tool that provides an UI to handle database on server. That provides an UI to handle database on server. You have to install the MongoDB. I will give the link here. MongoDB Community Edition, Community Server. This is the MongoDB Community Server. Because don't get confused, just follow what I have given. Why? Because if you go online and you try, this is the website from where you have to install. Because MongoDB is a huge cloud environment. MongoDB is not just a database. They are a cloud service provider. So they have so many cloud databases. They have so many cloud environments. So it's a big concept. So what you do, just do what I showed you here, right? You install MongoDB community server. If you go to direct website, you will be confused. So that is the reason I'm giving a direct link. You go to that link and you download the setup and install. Actually, this is the community link. So what you need to do is just scroll down and you download this tool. For every operating system, it is available. According to your operating system, it will automatically suggest you. Just you have to download. And when you download, a setup file will come. Just what you have to do, you have to install that setup file. When you are installing, I already have it, so I am not installing this. So once you finish, you start installation, it will ask next, just like you install Node.js. In that, one checkbox will be there, install MongoDB Compass. It will ask you, do you want to add Compass? By default, it is selected. You don't worry. So if it is not selected, you have to make sure that it is selected. So make sure that you have selected MongoDB Compass while installing. That's it. Once it is installed successfully, so what you have to do is, after installing MongoDB, start its a server. How to start the server is, you have to go to services.msc from your programs. So right click on MongoDB server and select start. Make sure that it is started. Generally, MongoDB server is automatically started. Sometimes because you may have some other servers running, it will stop those. It will stop your servers. You have to manually start the server. So what you do, after installing, go to services.msc. You can see this is services in your computer. In services, make sure that in the list there is MongoDB. Once you installed, you will have MongoDB. You see currently MongoDB is not running. You see here MongoDB is not running. You see MongoDB is not running. It is stopped. Then I cannot connect. I cannot work with MongoDB. So make sure that you are connected with MongoDB. So what you do? Right click on it and select the option start. Then it starts the MongoDB server, and you can see the MongoDB server is now running. So every time you need to check this, because in your computer if you have Oracle, MySQL, so many, one server may suppress another one sometimes. Due to that, you need to check this every time. Okay, once it is started, MongoDB server is running. Now what you do, open MongoDB Compass from programs. You have to open MongoDB Compass from programs. And what you have to do is connect to server using following connection string. What is MongoDB connection string is? It is a fixed one. MongoDB : /12700127017. That is the connection string. That is the fixed connection string for MongoDB. All MongoDB servers will be running on that particular port number. That is the fixed connection string for MongoDB. Now here what we have to do is go to your programs. You will find MongoDB Compass. This is MongoDB Compass. Open this MongoDB Compass. That is the MongoDB Compass tool. This is the Compass tool. Actually, in this Compass tool, I already have a connection. Generally, what you will have, you have a add new connection. Click on add new connection, and it will ask the connection string. Connection string is what? MongoDB : /1270001:27017. That is the Mongo connection string. You have to define the Mongo connection string and click on Save and Connect button is there, and it connects to MongoDB. And you can see MongoDB is successfully connected, and see these are all the databases I am having. By default, I am having all these databases. Actually, in your computer, by default, 3 databases will be there. One admin, another config, another local. All other are in my machine, they are created for different purpose. But whenever you first log in, you will have 3 databases by default. That is the admin, another config, another one local. Now here generally, so after connecting, you will find default databases. What are those? One is admin, another one is config, another one is local. And it is not mandatory to have all of them, but default you will have them, right? Now here you need to learn how to create a database. But here terminology is little different. That means, what is MongoDB terminology? MongoDB terminology is, I will compare with any other database that you know generally. For example, you have Oracle or MySQL like databases, and you have MongoDB. What is difference is actually where the data is stored in a database. That means in Oracle, what you will have, data is kept in a database. Oracle and MySQL have database. In MongoDB also you will have a database. In database where the data is kept in Oracle and MySQL, data is in table na table. Here we don't have table. We have collection. MongoDB tables are called as collections. We don't have tables here. MongoDB don't have tables. Here table is a collection. Collection is just like your array, JSON array, right? It's a collection. We don't have tables in MongoDB. Your Oracle MySQL tables are here called as what? Collection. In a table you will have record or you will have a row, right? Here you have a document. That record or row is considered as a document. So MongoDB database have collections. Inside the collections you have documents. And actually every row have a field name na? Field or you call it as what? Column. Here we call it as same. It is a field or you call as a key. Because every document is a JSON type. If every document is a JSON type object, then it will have a key and values. Right. And usually in your databases, you have joins, right? And here you will have embedded document. Embedded document, a document inside document. These are the basic things you need to work with a database actually. So MongoDB database. In MongoDB, you have database. Database have collections. Collection have documents, and document have a key value reference like fields. In a document, another document, it is embedded document, right? So these are the basic terms of MongoDB. So MongoDB terminology is this: database, collections, document, and all. Now what we have to do, according to our project, we need to learn how to create database. We need to learn how to create the collections and maintain them so that we can interact with the database. And we need to learn some commands because it is a non-SQL command. Non-SQL command means here we need to learn some commands. SQL means how to read data from a file. To read data from a table, we have to use select query. Here we have to use a simple find query. Simple find method we have to use. How to insert, you have a insert query. Here we have insert method. We have like insert one. We have like insert many, like this. How to update, we have update one. We have like update many. I will give you simple commands. We have delete one and another one is delete many. These are the CRUD operation related commands. They are very simple, just like JavaScript methods, you have to use them. So, but we have to learn these commands and we have to learn how to create one database for our project. I will just show you how to create a database and tables for our project. You can try the same. Without much knowledge also you can do, doesn't matter. So we will see how to create a database and work with the database in next session. So Monday we will do that. Right, in Monday session, we are going to start building the project. But first, I will give you database related commands. How to design database, how to set up the commands, I will tell you. Then we will create our own API. API we will use Node.js and Express. After that, we will use that in the React, and we will build a complete front-end UI with React and TypeScript as language. That if we can finish that project, then entire end-to-end is finished. Complete integration will finish. Mostly in coming weekend, we will finish all our React. Right? By the coming weekend, we will finish all the React concepts. Everything related to React, you will finish in this project. I will give you entire concept. By coming weekend, we will finish all the React concept. Okay. Then Monday onwards, we will start working on a project. In that project, we will try to implement all rest of the concepts, whatever are to be learned, pending topics are there, everything we will implement there. Okay, Monday will continue that, right?